Hello all, I'm Sai and you're watching The Book Dragon. I'm here to try and inspire more people to get into the healthy habit of reading, and let's get started with today's video. For today's video, we are going to see a Wintery book recommendations. I've split up the video into genres because various people like various genres. Okay. We are going to see books from three different genres. The first of those three genres being fantasy, because fantasy is my most favorite genre. The first book that I'm about to recommend is a young adult retelling of Alice in Wonderland. It is called Heartless. It speaks about the story of the Queen of Hearts, who's the antagonist in Alice in Wonderland. It gives us a very clear view of how the Queen of Hearts becomes such a bad person and how she became heartless in the first place, and what are the things that changed her mind and how was her life. This is written in a very good way by Marissa Meyer. She was my favorite author of last year because I read Renegades by her, which is a superhero story like Marvel and DC, but it's not in such a level. It is really good, and you can give this a go if you like young adult fantasy. The next book that we are about to see is an adult fantasy. It is called The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. It is an adult fantasy because of its content. It is not so simple to read. The language is a bit tough compared to normal fantasy books. The name of the author might seem like it is an Indian novel, but it is not. It is an American novel. The language is so good, and it is evident from the story that a lot of research has been put into the creation or writing of this book. The plot of the book deals with the main character, who's called Nahri. She's a con artist who lives in Cairo, and unknowingly, someday she just summons a jinn. She's a person who can do magic, but she doesn't know how she can do magic. By summoning the jinn, she just gets swept up into this magical world of the jinn. There a lot of politics surrounds her, and many things happen. That's all that I can say about the City of Brass because it is so much politically engaging and politically thrilling. So if you like politically intriguing books, then you must go for The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. The world building in this book is just top notch. The next genre that we're about to see is thriller. Especially for winters, I'm going to recommend some psychological thrillers because they play with the mind, and it is so good for the cool atmosphere that we have in winter. The first book that we are about to see is Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. Everyone just recommends Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn because it is so good as a psychological thriller, but Sharp Objects is her first novel, and it is nothing less to Gone Girl if you ask me, because it speaks about a journalist who's named Camille Preaker, and she's assigned a task to get to her own native village, Missouri, I think, or Mississippi. I don't remember properly what the place is. And there she has to investigate around serial murders which are taking place in her city. And she has to go and live with her mother and her stepsister in their home. And it's really spooky, and it will give you the creeps, and it is very good for reading during a winter time with a huge cup of coffee. Just give Sharp Objects a try, and the title Sharp Objects is so wittily placed because you cannot figure out why it is called Sharp Objects until you reach like the last chunk of the story. Just give this a go. Next book that I'm going to recommend is The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. It is the debut of Paula Hawkins. It's a story about a girl who just likes seeing people through the train windows of the train in which she travels every day, and she keeps an eye out on a particular home. The train moves slow over there, it seems, so she just keeps an eye over that family, that couple who live there. And this book is so engaging because it is so junky. You can just dive into it and you can read it like continuously. It's a page turner. It is especially suitable for winter because most of the scenes in the book are taking place in a time when there is rain in that particular dwelling. So just give The Girl on the Train a go because it is so engaging, and you have to flip the pages to know more and more and more. It is most probably like a film rather than a book, so it will make you get engaged in the story more compared to the other thrillers which I can suggest for beginners to read. Next genre that we are about to see is young adult or adult contemporary. I take contemporary because it is so fluffy and it is so light compared to the other genres which we saw before. The first book that I'd like to recommend in contemporary genre is P.S. I Love You by Cecilia Ahern. It bugs me when people say Cecilia Ahern because it's not Ahern, it is Ahern. This book is a romantic novel. It is so romantic and so painful. When you keep the book down, it gives you a feeling of fulfillment. The plot of the book is that there is a couple, and from those couple, the husband dies due to brain tumor, and after he dies, like a month or so after he dies, the wife, she gets a package, and in that package there are numerous letters ending with ps I love you, and inside each and every letter there is some task assigned for the wife that she has to do in order to fulfill the wishes of her husband, because he knows that he's going to die, right? The husband knows that he's going to die, so he's just made this incredibly beautiful gift for his wife that is so romantic. You have to read this. Please read this and make this stay in that bestseller list forever, because it is such a beautiful novel and everyone has to read this. If you read this in winter, you will get those feels for sure. The last book that we're about to see in the contemporary romance genre is Totems All the Way Down by John Green. It is a young adult novel. Everyone knows who John Green is. He's the king of young adult contemporary. And this book, Turtles All the Way Down, has some problem with the plot, as everyone says, but the book is not mainly about the plot. It mainly deals with a mental disability called OCD, which is obsessive compulsive disorder. If you want to know more about OCD, please Google and find it out. It is a really interesting problem and it needs to be sought after because it can bug you a lot and it can disturb your mind a lot. Turtles All the Way Down, this spiral has a very good meaning according to the story, because OCD is something when you just obsessively think about a certain of everything and you want everything to be perfect, which is not possible at all in this world. The plot of the book deals with Asa, a 16-year-old girl. She's single parented, and her friend Daisy, who try to uncover the mystery of a missing billionaire, who's the father of her another friend Davis Pickett. And the story doesn't much revolve around the plot, but it revolves more around the OCD part. And if you want to study more about or read more about mental illness, read all of John Green's books because they are very good. Okay, that's it for today. And if you enjoyed the video, do like, comment and subscribe. And if you like to get more content from me, please subscribe for the channel. Thanks for watching.